anyone in the bracket who played Steve today and had to fight Mr.E, I'm sorry. You got the full brunt of this man's wrath against Steve going as Lucina in this matchup. And we're starting off very strong here on a small battlefield. You're seeing D-Dog just go straight in with the mining, getting that iron tools right off the bat, may I say. And Mr.E not even contesting when he's going for the mining, just kind of patiently weighing it out and punishing when D-Dog retreats to the ledge more often than not.
Anyway, so getting right into it, D-Dog, you know, the idea going into the rest of the set is going to be obviously that Mr.E, of course, like you mentioned, like playing stubborn, right? Of just squatting with forward airs, playing with the neutral airs, whatever. D-Dog, of course, has the same game plan of setting up TNT. It's going to be really tough for Mr.E to deal with, considering that he plays at that range. Wherever D-Dog sets up TNT, Mr.E is usually there all the time. It's going to throw him off kilter at least a little bit, at least from what I'm guessing.
Yeah, this match is going to be a little bit more of a slow burn than what we've been kind of used to, especially going from Diddy Kong Fox to now Lucina Steve. I mean, D-Dog with like the excellent reset there. I'm interested to see how Mr.E is going to do here because I just feel like we've seen kind of like a slow burn from E where we know what he's capable once he finds that one hit, but I don't think out of anybody here left in bracket, D-Dog is going to be the one to really let him get that one hit into the finisher. And speaking of finishers, man, Mr.E going to live it out and even find a finisher of his own. Hey, look, that one hit I was talking about, Ubel.
Yeah, that one single reversal is sometimes all it takes. Like Mr.E holding onto his resources, never panicking in the face of a potential stock ending situation. He knows he has the tools to get out of dangerous spots and has the DI to match. The swipe at the blocks was so good, but the wooden health is a little bit higher than the dirt, and it's able to take just one Lucina forward air, and all that was enough in order to close out the stock thanks to blocking the recovery.
And what really sucks that you couldn't even wait it out for it to naturally deteriorate after you had hit it, because Lucina recovery very, very, very short. So, I mean, it's great, very fast, whatever, but at the same time, couldn't wait that long anyway. Now you're back off stage at only one stock. I don't even know where the second stock went. This is how fast this match has been. And another just complete guard away from that ledge. And this is honestly a rinse and repeat of what Mr.E does struggle with against Steve. And it's not even a fault of him. It's the fault of the fact that Steve can make platforms wherever he really wants. And Lucina is a victim of the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mr. E's idea going into this, right? The way he's playing neutral, the way he's catching D-Dog's jumps a lot, the way he's finding most of his damage a lot. It's the fact that D-Dog is just playing solely reactionary, right? Like we saw really early on, he's going for a lot of parries in those forward airs. And that's big against Lucina in general, especially as Steve. It's huge because usually you can't really punish that up a lot of shit. You don't have that quick enough. But with the parries, it makes it that you can send them off stage, and then of course those blocks are being placed phenomenally so far.
Yeah, I think Mr.E's win condition at this point is going to have to be a little bit more creative on the recoveries, coming back high. I think we should find a way to get back to the stage going high at this point. I mean, not a bad start if you're Mr.E, but here comes Steve. Pretty even right now, but We've been learning, excuse me, that this is Mr.E's favorite stage, but I feel like at this point, Ubel, it's been combo wars back and forth.
Yeah, every single time he goes to this stage, it feels like it's the neutral that Mr.E wants. He's just getting outdone on it, whether it be by a player playing at such a high level to play around Lucina's game plan, or the responsive nature of D-Dog, who's been extremely direct with his game plan every time we've seen him on stream. I harken back to what you were saying earlier, Mott, just constantly considered this blunt force object able to set up with powered minecarts to call out jumps, back airs where they're supposed to be. D-Dog is positioning to get the value and playing, not trying to overcomplicate anything that he's doing against someone who plays with a lot of finesse in Mr.E.
Mr.E able to get the ledge trump into the back here, but unfortunately was a little bit too distracted by that graphing table and got a big punish for the side of D-Dog. And now he's able to find Mr.E off stage and try to set up this ledge again, but thankfully not allowing, not placing the blocks correctly enough to allow Mr.E a little bit of a space on that ledge, but at the same time, still going to be able to find that advantage and take it in a more convincing fashion to make it much more even paced here. And I really want to quickly mention that I've never really been a fan of taking Steve to FD because you can make your own platforms, albeit temporarily.
I think a big thing that D-Dog's doing right now is punishing Mr. E's hesitation in a lot of these situations, right? Whether it's catching him landing with an F smash, whether it's sending that TNT out in the center of the stage, or it's catching him retreating fair, like right there, retreating fair with a down tilt. It's a lot of situations where if Lucina is like we're seeing in the last play before, where he's doing, now he's empty-hopping, he's doing nothing, and throwing out there and punishing him for not being proactive in that moment.
Yeah, now though, I mean, it's Mr. E still in the percentage lead, but D-Dog, a little bit of rage and a lot to work with right now, trying to catch out this jump, setting up the TNT, and I think I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I feel like D-Dog has been one of the only Steves that goes for the redstone tricks. I feel like Syrup goes just for TNT block pressure plate, but D-Dog actually tries to like set it up just a little bit. What? Hey, so I said set it up a little bit. That was a setup a little bit.
Yo, that was some.
That was a Syrup.
That was actually
right
some nil tech there. Okay, D-Dog, like actually getting up there, utilizing the blocks, being able to place them faster to anti-air with that up smash. Nice follow up there from Mr. E in order to close out the stock. But I want to bring to your attention and stay with me on this. Physics.
I'm listening.
So he is consistently trying to play at a slower tempo, utilizing space as his main form of control. Meanwhile, D-Dog plays much more with the time element of what Mr. E's game plan lacks. And if Mr. E's going to consistently give him time to mine, to set up more, to place these TNTs, to place blocks over the ledge, suddenly this factor of time is never in Mr. E's favor, and it drops down 2-0 to D-Dog because of it.
I think the thing that I'm noticing Mr. E right now is that this Lucina is playing way too respectful of this Steve. He's getting away with way too much, like going off what you said, like giving him time to do a lot of different things. A lot of times where he has the idea, okay, I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna forward air, and then it'll set space, it'll make it so that I'll be in, right? But then, of course, you're both, and then at that point, I just mined 14 materials, I have diamond tools, I have the minecart set up already, I have the TNT. Steve has got so much more from you spacing. A lot of times, we need you, Mr. E, to start getting disrespectful. Getting in there, and you see more nairs. I haven't seen much nair at all, actually.
And the problem is, you just saw right there, but it's really just to make some space and attempt to stuff out Steve a little bit, but Steve doesn't really care, especially when, yeah, you're seeing Mr. E get the lead 9 times out of 10 in these excursions on Final Destination, but unfortunately, once D-Dog gets those minecarts, the powered minecart, once he gets the diamond, and once he's able to get consistent forwarders like that, it only sends, and also the edge guards were just placing blocks on the ledge. Mr. E is not able to play the game at all.
I feel like D-Dog just kind of plays like the Jack-in-the-Box game where we're winding up this like explosive combo, and then you never know when the puppet's gonna pop. And so many of these moments we've seen just like, okay, like sure, this is Steve stuff, right? Like we're seeing a couple of these up tilts, we're seeing things you know, work. But then all of a sudden, we're able to find this wow moment, and I don't think Mr. E is truly catching on. And now, here we go, just a couple dash attacks here. This is what I'm talking about. Ubu will be able to find the down smash. And from what started with stock 1 going in E's favor, now it's actually just completely going off the rails.
Just absolutely getting blown up in these moments, always able to figure out the right option at the right time, at the right timing for D-Dog by playing to that time factor so unbelievably well compared to Mr. E, who's always willing to play the long game and try to whittle things down slowly and progressively. That has its benefits, though. As D-Dog loses out on space, he also loses out on time to do things as E applies that pressure, finds the back air in order to try and get this stock down, but unable to find the finishing blow thanks to a clever recovery route from D-Dog.
And trying to find the Dolphin Touch as well in order to secure that 117% on D-Dog, but unfortunately, I mean, just kind of finding a 50% combo on himself at the same time. The TNT step on that right side platform, and with no pressure plate, that's A-okay, as Mr. E is able to find himself helping, helping himself to more percentage, yeah, sure, but D-Dog not even setting much, just having to use a minecart and taking a trade that's favorable to Mr. E, but for how long, I'm not sure. Diamond is online. Mr. E confidently jumps right over that TNT and pressure plate. But for how long? We get rid of the minecart, we allow D-Dog to get some mining done, and who is going to secure this game?
Yeah, Mr. E recognizing at this point, I need to push the gas full force. Oh my God.
I've never seen minecart break shield.
That's a new one.
I'm
was
gonna
crazy.
I'm gonna be real. I don't think I've ever seen minecart without redstone break shield. That might be a first for me.
That was definitely one of the shield breaks of all time.
shield break
Normally it shield pokes at that shield health.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I've ever seen just an explicit
That was
break
crazy.
before.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of plays into the same factor that we keep bringing up. This, as we get back into our own time here, like D-Dog was able to master the tempo that Mr. E was playing at and break down the spacing in order to play always at spacings that's favored Steve, whether that be up close and personal or back full stage so he could mine, and never felt pressured to change up the timing at which he was playing at because he always had the wherewithal of what he needed to do at those moments. And you know what? The minecart shield break is just icing on the cake when it comes to that game plan.
And it's just so unfortunate because I have seen Mr. E go against Steve. I don't recall if it was D-Dog or if it was Syrup at the last saga, but the same edge guarding that was happening was just happening again today. That was taking a lot of his stocks a little bit too early than anticipated. This was absolutely insane. I mean, I think it's one of the first time I really ever see D-Dog specifically go for something like that. With TNT, usually he kind of just places it, uses the redstone in order to extend, where you could get hit by it, or at least extend where you can activate it. But it's really great combo, really great hedge guarding from a D-Dog as well, I must say. And Mr. E putting up a really good effort in order to, live up to that tweet where he said, "I will take down every Steve at some point."
Not yet, buddy.
Not yet.
Soon, but
Soon.
maybe, but not yet.
Soon.
I mean, it's that's so unfortunate because I see it. The Steve improvement is palpable, right? Like when playing, he knows how to deal with blocks, dealing with blocks pretty well. He's catching Steve jumping out of the air, getting aggressive. It's the fact that just there's two main things, whether it's letting them get away with mining too much and the offstage game. And honestly, I don't think you're ever gonna fix that because Lucina's recovery is extremely mediocre when it comes to that situation. Like when on stage out of field, sure, it's great, but off stage in that situation,